Luke chapter 8, verse 40. You read the story of Jairus meeting Jesus, and Jairus coming to Jesus and saying, Jesus, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you. My daughter is very sick. Could you please come and heal her because she's almost dying? Jesus was not under pressure. He works in priority because he's a principled man. Guess what? He said, okay, let's go. You think they will hurry. You think they will step on it. They will think they will say, okay, come on, let's go before she died. No. Jesus was never under pressure. In fact, on the way to Jairus' house, on the way to heal Jairus' daughter, he had to stop on the way to attend to the woman with the issue of blood. He spent some time with her. To tell you that he was not in a hurry, he was not under pressure, irrespective of the situation, irrespective of the circumstance. It does not matter how your situation may be or how your circumstance may be, get the priorities right. Bring principles into your life. You will rearrange your priorities so that it will take the pressure off you. Especially in the lifestyle that we are living now. There's so much pressure on family. There's so much pressure on individual. There's pressure from your mates. There's pressure in the family. There's pressure from your children. There's pressure at work. There's pressure everywhere. Bring principle into your life. That will force your priorities to be rearranged. There are certain things that we should not even be getting into. As a principled person. So, one of the merits of principles, living by principle, is that it takes off pressure from you. And it brings priority into your life. Jesus did not panic. He said, let's go. On the way, he still had time to stop by to attend to the woman with the issue of blood before proceeding to Jairus' house. The second merit of a principled life is this: is stability in life. Stability in life. Principle ensures there is stability in your life. A man that is not principled, a woman that is not principled, their life will be so unstable because anything goes. You are everywhere, doing anything, allowing anything. There is no stability in such a life. The life will always be up and down because it's not principled. Look at that. In Genesis chapter 16, we all know the story of Abraham. Abraham was a man of God who lived by principle of God. Up until Genesis 16. When he decided to live not by the principle of God anymore, but by preference. Why? Because Sarah brought in cultural preference. We don't have a child. It's been so and so number of years. We've been married for almost 40 years now. No kids. And then she brought the idea, look, I would prefer that you take my maid servant as wife so that I can have children through her. Abraham deviated from principle. His whole family was shattered. The stability that he enjoys was destroyed. You can read the turmoil and the trouble and the fight and all the things that happened in that family shortly after Ishmael was born. Or even from the moment Hagar became pregnant. The moment she conceived, the Bible records that her mistress became despised in her eyes. Why? Because someone deviated from living by principle, went to live by preference. So principle brings stability in your life, brings stability in your marriage, brings stability in your relationship, brings stability in your job, in your career. Just be principled, you will enjoy stability. And you cannot do anything unless you are stable. You cannot build unless there is stability in your life. If there is no stability in your life, there are so many children that have been taken off families because the family is so unstable. Many children have been taken by dogs away from people, from couples, from a man, from a woman. Why? Because the environment is an unstable, violent environment. A principled man will enjoy stability in his life. Will enjoy stability in his life. Abraham had a stable family. He had a stable marriage relationship with Sarah because he lived by godly principle. Until he deviated from those godly principles and decided to live by preference, in that he acceded to Sarah's cultural solution to taking Hagar her maidservant as wife, the stability in the family was destroyed. The third merit or advantage of living by principle is this: you have a healthy lifestyle. You have a healthy lifestyle. Proverbs chapter 4. Let's read it. Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4. Verse 20 to 22. I'm talking to you this morning about living by principle. I believe it is the will of God and the wish of God for you this morning to have principles in your life by which you live, and not live by preference. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 20 to 22. Look at what it says here. It says, "My son, give attention to my words. Incline your ears to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart. For they are life to those who find them, and health to all their flesh." They are life to those who found them, and health to all their flesh. Living by godly principle will lead to a healthy lifestyle. Will lead to a healthy lifestyle. You will be healthy physically, you will be healthy emotionally, you will be healthy mentally, you will be healthy socially. Many people are sick today. They are sick financially, they are sick mentally, they are sick socially, they are sick emotionally, because they do not have principles in their lives. Godly principles. The Proverbs is telling us it is health to your flesh. It is health to your flesh to have godly principles in your life and in your family. Principles will influence the way you make decisions at the shops. A principle mind godly principles in your life will influence the way you make decisions at the shops, the way you make decisions in your house, the way you make decisions about your job. There are some magazines that I will never buy. I will never, ever use my money and purchase because of my principles. You know those kind of magazines, those ones that you see when you are paying for your petrol all over, on the side. There are some magazines that you should never buy because of the principle by which you live. Even if they are giving it for free, I will still not take. Because of the principle that I live with, that I live by. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Living by godly principle will drastically change your life, will drastically change your lifestyle and your life choices. Certain indulgences that is considered pleasures of life, which in actual fact, for anybody you can think deeply, who thinks deeply, will realize that they are actually pain and not pleasure. Let's read it. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. 1 John 2:15. Because there are certain things that is considered pleasure of life, which in actual fact, if you think deeply about it, you will realize they are actually pain and not pleasure. Because they wreck you economically, they wreck you financially, they wreck you health-wise and in relationship. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Look at it. It says, "Love not the world." That's a principle. "Neither the things which are in the world." That's a principle. If any man loves the world, the love of God is not in him at all. This is a principle for lifestyle. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of God is not in him. That's a principle to live by. So if you have principles in your life, it will automatically, you will live a healthy lifestyle. It is only someone who is unprincipled. Anything goes. They put anything in their mouth. They put anything in their body. They put anything in their bloodstream. They smoke and drink anything. They go anywhere. They sleep with anybody because they are not principled. And therefore, they catch all these sort of disease and sicknesses and everything, and liver fail, and lungs fail, and this fail. Why? Because they are unprincipled. They are unprincipled. Before I close the sermon this morning, I want to share 2 or 3 examples of people who lived by godly principles with you. Look at this. Jesus lived by principle. He's a highly principled person. Jesus lived by principle. Remember the story in Luke of the rich young man that came to Jesus, and he told him, what should I do to enter into the kingdom of God? And Jesus told him the principle of lordship. The principle of allowing God to be topmost on your list of preferences. The principle that says God must be top on your agenda. The Bible says the man went home sad. He went home unhappy. He went home sad. Why? Because Jesus only shared with him the principle by which he lived by. He only shared. There are some people that will not talk to you. Why? Because you will share the principle by which you lived by. And they will feel convicted. Jesus was a principled man. For his 33 years on earth, he lived by principle. I have made a promise to you in this place that I will live to you, I will speak to you in truth. I will not sugarcoat things for you so that you can stay. If it's going to be 2 people that's going to be left here, by virtue of principle, let it be. Because that's how God works. Remember, narrow is the gate. And difficult is the way. The reason why many people are not attuned with God, the reason why many people are not coming to God is because the gate is narrow. And the road is difficult. He's talking about principle. He's talking about being strict with yourself. He's talking about discipline. Godly discipline. But the gate that leads to death, the Bible says it is wide. And the road is broad. And that's how you know, because anything goes. Some people argue and say, how come there's only one way to God? It can't be. There are so many roads that you can get to God and all that. You say, because it's broad way. Bring your thinking, bring your philosophy. It's okay, it's all right. That's what Jesus is talking about. Broad is the way. And wide is the gate. All sorts of thinking, all sorts of philosophy. Everybody say, I can get to go through here. I don't necessarily have to go through Jesus. I will go through this person. I'll go through this guy. I'll go through this way. Broad is the way. But a principled mind, Jesus is saying, narrow is the gate. Jesus lived a principled life. Abraham lived by principles rather than preference. Abraham lived by principles rather than preference. There was a point in time when Isaac was born into his life. Listen to this. When Isaac was born into his life, he was full of joy. He was full of joy. But before Isaac was born, guess what happened? You remember the story. God told him, Abraham, you will have a son by your wife by your wife Sarah. And he said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Let Ishmael live. Let Ishmael live. He was ready to compromise his principle again. He was ready to live by preference. He will prefer that Ishmael live. Don't worry about Isaac. Sarah is 90 years old. Don't worry yourself. Leave her, let Ishmael be. And God said, no. I'm a principled God. I have spoken to you. I am a purpose-driven God. I have spoken to you, and this is what I meant. Isaac will come by your wife Sarah, who is 90 years old. Yes, I know she's 90. I know she's 90. Even though Abraham was ready to compromise again and live by preference, he would have preferred that Ishmael live. Forget about Isaac, just leave Ishmael with me. But the Bible says when Isaac came, there was so much joy in the life of Abraham. There was so much love for Isaac, more than he had for Ishmael. Abraham could not believe that there is so much joy to be experienced. Abraham could not believe there is so much love to be given out that is in him. Abraham could not, even God was jealous of this love. God was jealous of this love for Isaac.